Hey, how's she going, boys? Mike here. Welcome back to Grampie's workshop. Well, we got another nice day going on here. We had some rain last night, which was welcomed. We could sure use a bunch more of it, but we'll take what we can get, right? Anyhow, what we're up to today is we're finished with the Massey Motel. She's all done, ready to go there, and the Massey's in there, happy as a lark. But there's another little bit of work I need to do on a roof, so let's go look at that. So this is my shop, and last spring I had a metal roof put on the shop, because the asphalt shingles were done. So I had a nice metal roof put on the shop, and I must say I like it. And when they were finished the roof, they had a couple of pieces of the steel left over. So I told them, don't put it back on the truck, leave it here because I bought it, it's mine. So I've got some, I think about 1.5 strips of the steel left, and there's a little bit of a roof behind the shop that goes over my heat pump and my electric log splitter. And that still has asphalt shingles on it. So what I want to do is put steel on that just to finish it all off. So let's go do that. So this is the roof I'm talking about right here. It's about, I don't know, 8 feet long, 2.5 feet deep. There's not much of a roof, but it keeps the rain and whatnot off my splitter and the heat pump. And I'd like to put the steel pieces that I have left on that, and then that everything on the shop then is done in steel. Isn't that a good idea? I see here it's just asphalt that's on there for roofing with the shingles on top of it. And the asphalt on this side, it's got water damage. But you know, one thing about the steel, because you put it on with screws, you can put it on, and then if the roofing gets so bad that it needs to be replaced, you can take the steel off and replace the roofing, the sheathing, put the steel back on. So I'm going to go get that steel, bring it up here. I'm going to clean off the roof. I've got some strapping. I want to lay some strapping on that first rather than put it right directly on the asphalt. And we're going to go from there. So I'm up here looking at my roof, and you know, when you look at it right there, it doesn't look that bad, does it? Looks pretty nice. But down here on the drip edge, I don't know how well you can see that, but it cups in here pretty good. And then when I look in here and look at the actual roofing, it's hard to do with one hand too, but look at that. There's nothing left of the asphalt on the roof. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take the shingles off here, and I'm going to have to replace the asphalt. And luckily enough, I've got enough left over from doing the roof on the Massey Motel. I've got 3 pieces that are more than enough to do this. A lot of this asphalt on here, you know, I could save parts and pieces of it, but I don't think it's worth it. I think I'm just going to rip it all off. And even the fascia, lots of the fascia is rotten. So luckily I've got a piece of fascia left over too from doing the tractor enclosure. So I think I can redo all this. So I'm going to take this asphalt off of here, or try to. It's pretty rotten. The little rafters I have in here, though, they seem to be in good shape, so that's one good thing. So this is just going to be a smash and grab, I think. And I thought this was in good shape. So it's the next day, a little cooler today, but still muggy and hot. We're going to put some sheathing on the those little rafters I have up there. I measured them as 35 inches deep, and these pieces are 48 inches wide. So I'm going to mark off 35 inches right here. Whenever I'm measuring and cutting, I always tell you the dimensions. Doesn't mean a whole lot to you, but if I don't say it out loud, I'll never remember it. So that's why I say it. Okay, we'll go put this one up, and then we'll cut the other one. Then I have to cut a piece to put in the middle. So I set this up so there'd be an 8-inch overhang over the edge there, and a little about 3/4 of an inch over the edge of these rafters, because I'm going to put a fascia board in here. Okay, now I'm going to get some starter strip, put around the edges. I was thinking I'd put strapping on it, but it's only just this little pitch roof here. But I'm just going to put the steel on this. I'm not going to strap it. What the heck, you know. Almost long enough, eh? Okay, before I put the starter strip on though, I think I want to put the fascia board on. Wow, the roof's not very flat, is it? It looks pretty bad, really, even from a distance. But we're going to put our starter strip on it now anyway. Okay, I'm going to get a couple of pieces and put down the rakes, and then I'll fill in that little corner right there. Alright, there's the starter strip. Now I have to go get the steel, lay that out, figure how I'm going to cut that. Now, bear in mind, this starter strip is not starter strip for a steel roof. I don't have all the necessary fittings for steel. I'm just using pieces of the shop roof that are left over. So I'm scavenging these together, just, you know, making the best I can do with what I have, right? So this is my steel that I'm going to be using. And like I was saying earlier, it's just scraps left over from when they did the shop. So this is not a full width sheet, so that's going to cause me some grief. I've got a couple of pieces of sheets here. I think I can get enough out of both of them to do that little roof. My run is going to be 36 inches long, so I measured 36 inches, put a mark across here. But now my issue is, how am I going to cut that? I could go at it with the snips, I suppose, but I'm thinking the snips, I don't know, I might not do a good job. Alright, I have a little test jig set up here. I have a scrap piece of the roofing clamped here, and then I have a cutoff wheel. It's about 1/8 of an inch thick. I'm going to try and cut the steel with the cutoff wheel. Well, it's cutting it, but I'm making an awful mess of it. So I'm going to go on the other side here now, and I'm going to use the snips to cut it and see how I make out with the snips. That looks terrible too. Alright, I'm going to try this. I've got an old skill saw here, and I put the blade in backwards. When the guys were here doing the roof, that's what they had, so I'm going to try that. And I got a little edge there so I can set my saw against that, try to guide it. So we'll see how this works. what? That cut pretty good. But it's awful loud. This was the cuts I was making with the grinder. And I'm not real good with the grinder, so you can see it was kind of ragged and jagged. This first part of this cut was with the little tin snips, and it was pinching and, you know, bending the steel. And then this was the cut with the steel saw, so the circular saw. So I like this one, so we're going to go with that one. So we're going to get set up, measure that, get some ear protection, and we'll go from there. It's noisy, so I got my hearing protection on, and I'm going to go slow because I don't want it to catch and fetch up and, you know, ruin it, because I don't have a lot of steel to play with. So let's try it. So far, so good. I really like the cut. It's a little ragged though. So what I'd like to do is go get a file, and I'm just going to brush that edge down with the file. So I'm just going to try and knock the burr off this. Well, you know what? That fits on there pretty darn good. One thing though, I do have some of this edge pieces that were left over as well, and there was enough that I can do up both sides with these edges. And I think I should, that might make it look even a little bit better. All right, let's put a screw in that then. Now, and I'm using roofing or steel roofing screws, and they got rubber washers on them, right? Well, the first piece is on. I'm not real impressed with my metal roof installation ability, but I think it's going to be all right. I never put a flashing up against the building. Well, for a couple of reasons. One, I didn't have any. And the other thing is, well, I guess it's not too late to put it on now, because the flashing should go above the roof height. So if I have any steel roofing left, maybe I can cut some strips and form it to make a little flashing there, but I think for now that'll be all right. I've got quite a bit of overlap here, but rather than try to cut that, I just went with it. That seems to be pretty good there. So I have to rip this right down the middle of this rib, so we got her set up here. Let's do it. That was pretty easy. Just going to get the file and touch that edge up now. All right, let's go put the last piece on. Well, you know, I need to put a little bit of flashing along the back there, but I have to check and see if I have any of that steel sheeting, steel roofing left that I can form up to make that flashing. But even without it, it's not that bad. If I don't put flashing on there, I'll have to touch it up with some paint. But anyway, I like it. It turned out not too bad, you know. For as terrible condition as the roof was in when I started, it didn't turn out too bad. And I also took some time and I painted the fascia board here, so I like it. So thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think of my little job here putting steel roof on for the first time. Go easy on me. Have a great week, folks, wherever you are. Don't forget to thumbs up me, eh? And we'll talk to you.